builds willow palaces and willow castles for a social, ecological society. The theoretical and conceptual background of the work by sanfte Strukturen. A little explanation. I never worked alone. I work with my wife, I work with my daughter, I work with my friends, and we work with our people, and we called these groups working together, sanfte Strukturen. The primary goal of our activities in willow architecture since our start in 1984 is the synthesis of social and ecological needs. We did not follow the theory of Murray Bookchin from the early 70s of the last century because we didn't know it. Today we recognize his theory and his definition of social ecology as the basis for what we stand for since 20 years. We are happy to have found a theoretical background for our alternative attempt. We agree with Mary Bookchin that ecological ameliorations without social correspondence and optimized ecological technology without the improvement of the human condition makes no sense. Are not the majority of ecological problems due to social problems? Hostile people will make an enemy of nature. The global, national, and local gap between poor and rich, the exploitation and deprivation of man goes hand in hand with the exploitation and deprivation of the nature and the planet. How can the condition of life on Earth, a sustainable way of life, be assured without the implicit reconciliation of mankind? Without this reconciliation, and without the harmonic relationship between man and nature, unscrupulous exploitation and wars, the social and ecological disasters, the quality of life will deteriorate. Based on social peace, solidarity, and a sense of community, sustainable ways of life can evolve, and new environmental technologies can become efficient tools to build up harmonious conditions for new modes of life. Therefore, the building up and the development of new ways of work, cheerful, common, and festive cooperations are non-renounceable parts of the natural and living constructions by sanfte Strukturen. Natural sites are social ecological building games. Sanfte Strukturen is working since 25 years in developing natural living buildings and construction sites that are alive as well. Parallel to the development of the vegetal architecture, we experiment new ways of common working, calling them performance of construction, working party, building game, celebration of construction, natural playground for oildsters. Without noise and stench from machines, due to manual labor and tools, the sites are extremely relaxed places. Places of celebration and communication and the chance to meet all kinds of people from different countries and cultures. The co-workers of the group sanfte Strukturen help the volunteers, the young and old, women and kids, the physical impaired and the social outcasts to work together without pressure of competition and hierarchies, leaving room for everybody to be creative without foremen and timetables hampering their enthusiasm. This mixed group of volunteers, the majority women, always, at all sites we ever did, develop long-lost virtues and values such as solidarity, helpfulness, and healthy ambition to achieve. This behavior stems from a deep disappointment towards the actual reality with the inhospitable quality of life in the modern world. And also with the character of our projects, rooting far back in the past, cathedrals, castles, and palaces. These projects are homage to the Middle Age construction sites and cater to the edification of the workers and reaching as far into the sky and into the future as the Middle Age predecessors. We like to see in our natural living architecture a metaphor of the human life and growth. The first willow architectures grew in Eastern Germany. The Auer Palace at Auerstedt, Thüringen was realized for the celebration of Weimar 99, Cultural City of Europe. It is the first construction in architectural dimensions, 320 square meter and a height of 7 meters. Therefore, it's called the mother of all willow palaces. It was built and planted in spring '98 with about 300 volunteers, students and women from 9 different countries of Europe. The Willow Cathedral, built at the World Garden Exposition IGA at Rostock 2003, is the largest living architecture we ever built. During the 2 months of creation, more than 700 volunteers from 12 different countries realized in a communal process this cathedral with a length of 50 meters and a height of 15 meters and a total surface of 800 meters square. From 1998 to 2006, we realized more than 20 different living willow projects all over Northern Europe. The greatest and the most enthusiastic projects were all realized in Eastern Germany. For obvious reasons, all these first living architectural projects were realized in the East. The low costs for building and the ground, the availability of willow rods close to the sites, the community spirit of the former socialists, and their curiosity and openness towards new, unknown, and unusual ways of construction. They were impressed by the joyful and festive sights and the possibility for the helpers to gain responsibility and creativity. Other reasons for the success of our building sites in the East was also the absence of commercial interests, of competition and hierarchies, as well as the integration of unemployed and handicapped people. Our goal to use the natural sites for the cultivation of work and everyday life, coupled with the search to refine a cooperative and solidarity working culture, fell on fertile ground in this part of Germany. The pioneers of green architecture, mostly little communities, deserve the many tourists visiting this first natural living structure. And this tourist success is effective and lasting because many come back to watch the constant development and growth of the willow structure and the enduring change of the architecture. The spreading of the willow architecture. As a result of the popularity of this first vegetal architecture in Eastern Germany, we realized many other willow projects also in Western Germany and the neighboring countries. Thanks to our perseverance, we were able to avoid the usual architectural restrictions and laws by declaring plantations do not need a construction permit. Trees are not buildings. The forester is more competent than the construction experts. Therefore, spontaneous planting became very popular since everybody can start his own project without any administrative or juristic barriers. So in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Poland, and all over we built till now. Within a few years, the natural building with willow rods became a widespread movement with more than 10,000 vegetable constructions in Germany, mainly in schoolyards, but also in private and public gardens, together with our manual Weidenbaubuch, building with willow, which sold over 20,000 exemplars. The last few years we worked in different European countries and realized in the same public, festive and open process different living structures in Poland, Austria, Sweden, and towers in Antwerp, Strasbourg and Geneva. Many of the volunteers from our building sites started own projects and initiatives and are realizing willow projects now in Berlin, Bonn, Leipzig, Dresden, Zittau, Strasbourg, Stuttgart, Malmö and Geneva, Vienna and Breslau. But also many landscape architects, artists and basket makers are now building and planting cupolas, pavilions, playground structures with willow rods. Our primary intention to combine the ecological goal with the social need is often misunderstood and neglected. The chance to integrate all kinds of people and also the socially disabled is often not taken. Schools often omit the chance for the children to actively participate in cutting the rods out in nature and learn to create natural artwork. They generally prefer to purchase the rods and huts like any other industrial or botanical product. Ignoring the social ecological aspects of the living architecture means to let the future development of this creative and constructive movement to the interests of professional experts and to leave it to commercialization and standardization. Will it end in a profane biotechnology? This change has started in 2004, 20 years after our first living construction. Architects from the University of Stuttgart reinvented the building with living rods and plants by creating the term Baubotanik, building botany. New is only the term, and the total neglection of the social participation. They want to achieve a new botanical technology for experts and to transform the popular and non-regulated Weidenbau into an economic and commercial domain. The cooperation of these scientists with the largest willow manufacturing enterprise in Germany and their production of standardized products is a start in a new and oppositional direction. It is a challenge for the genuine willow builders to defend the achieved rights and freedom to build their living structure at any place with any regulation. We believe it is worth imitating our social ecological starting point with a festive, integrative and open building site as well as the botanical and technical aspects. We like to suggest to successors and universities to search and to commit themselves in a social process and creative and productive cooperation as well as in the technical aspects of the living architecture. The human need for more togetherness and social solidarity and for a free and sustainable society is impossible without solving the social problems, a prerequisite for the solution of the ecological problems.